I'm Claire Harkess. I'm an artist living and working in Perth, Scotland, and I focus mainly on birds and wildlife and the natural world and just anywhere out there really to get inspiration to bring back home. The way I like to approach watercolour is to let it do much of the talking. I like the watercolour to flow and to do its own thing, and sometimes that can be a challenge or a bit of a battle. Well, more of a conversation really, I suppose. I graduated in environmental art, which was very conceptual. I was making films and installations, and then it was only when I left college I just gravitated back towards painting, just started to paint the garden birds, and then visiting a few nature reserves locally. And on that I applied for artist in residence at Edinburgh Zoo, and when I left I decided I really wanted to see where these animals came from, and that really kicked off the last 20 years of visiting distant habitats and environments and fragile places. My relationship with the Strathearn Gallery goes back 20 odd years. They actually helped me get to Africa, they helped sponsor. It's a very close relationship, so it's really important. They've been a fantastic support over these years. Yeah, I suppose all these travels, wherever it's been, whether it's Galapagos or all these amazing places I've been to, it's not only about where to look, it's about how to look. I guess I've taken all that back with me, and now it doesn't matter where I am. We're at Argotty Red Kite on the edge of Perthshire, and we're in one of their hides. This is a woodland hide. To be sitting here absorbing what's going on in the sunshine in the spring, it is just so good for the soul. Signature wing clap, as if applauding themselves, wood pigeons take off. I think that's a great one. That's Chris Arthur. I think the haiku, it's just does so much with so little, and I think it resonates really well with my approach to a lot of the paintings I do. I try to say a lot with as little as possible and make every brushstroke mean something. I work with Chinese calligraphy brushes of all sizes, from very fine thin ones to big chunky ones, just by my new brush that I've just got, which I absolutely love. They hold lots and lots of water, so you can really spludge it on, but you can also really drain off the water, so you get really lovely scratchy dry marks as well. So they're really versatile brushes. When you do it, you just have to go for it. It doesn't matter what the result is, especially painting wildlife or birds, to try and keep that energy and that life. You're wanting to get that in the stroke, so the actual painting, it's a movement of life, so there's a kind of energy to the whole thing. This is just so, it's kind of big and scary and bold and throwing paint about, and I love the contrast when that sits with the gold leaf, which is obviously so precise and delicate and fine and just so precious. The last couple of years I've just started introducing gold leaf into my paintings. Kintsugi. It's an ancient technique of the repair of broken ceramics. The idea is that the pot or the ceramic is not broken, it is made stronger and more beautiful by filling the cracks with gold. It's a beautiful material to work with, and working with something that's so precious, and I'll save every drop, every little speck. So I started using Chinese paper when there was a delegation of artists took an exhibition to China in 2008. We were taken around universities, and we were also shown traditional brush and ink demonstrations, and that was a real turning point. It was like a dance they were doing, it was flowing, and it was just beautiful. Because it's so thin, you can't layer on paint, you can't keep layering and layering and scrubbing out. I kind of like the immediacy of it. It seems to suit the way I paint. So alongside the very thin papers, I also really like working on very heavyweight paper. You can really pour paint on, scrub it out, build up layers. What it does, it leaves you with really lovely ghost marks. I don't know which way up it'll just have another life doing something else. I have a drawer upstairs that's just full of bits of paintings that I really like, or colours, and I just thought these are too nice to throw out, so what can I do with them? That's where college started, because I had all these lovely little treasures that I didn't know what to do with. I used to think I never knew what I was doing, but it's not that. I get lost on purpose, especially for working with watercolour along with nature and wildlife, and to give it a sort of natural feel and a flow or a movement. I think the medium really suits how I work and the subjects that I work with. I really hope that I'm just showing a wee window in a maybe a different way, in a joyful way, celebrating the beautiful birds and animals that we live with and we have to protect.